So the reason I wanted to be here today was to kind of share a little bit about why I'm passionate about what I do is AI and well-being. I think technology is great. AI is wonderful. I came here to this country in 1991, and I came here on a research grant to do AI. I came to program robots. When I came here, I used to watch Star Wars and R2-D2 in India, and I was always wanted to work on robots. So I came here on a research grant to build robots. In 1994, that's a picture of me with my robot called Willie Nomad 200, 16 infrared sensors, 16 sonar, a laser to map rooms. And we designed this robot along with a company called robots.com in the Bay Area. And it was a mail sorting robot. And this was 24 years ago. So pretty advanced. And I used to be a CLIPS programmer, C-Lisp. And I worked with the professor, Dr. David Gustafson, out of Stanford's labs. And I was very much inspired by Star Wars. That was my inspiration. So everything I've done in life seems to have started with a movie. I started getting into design because I loved Minority Report. And the second thing you see over here is actually a project I was a teaching assistant for. I worked on a research grant with DARPA's and Jet Propulsion Lab to build a robot which walked like a spider in hazardous environments. So that's how I started my career as programming robots. But in 91, 92, I figured if you talked about AI, it was the winter. Nobody wanted to give you a job. So I got into programming fraud detection. I joined Sprint to detect fraud in telecom networks. And that's how I transitioned from the first movie, Star Wars. The second, I moved to India in 2007, and I really wanted to become a social entrepreneur. And I went to India, I realized that the country I was born in, 650 million under the age of 25. If you don't give the youth of India jobs, you actually have a civil war on your hands. So I teamed up with two of the well-known brands in the industry, A.R. Rahman, Slumdog Millionaire, and also with Shekhar Kapoor, the director of Elizabeth the Golden Age. And we wanted to really create a youth icon, which was basically timeless. So we saw Hatsune Miku, which was the avatar. If you guys know about Hatsune Miku out of Japan, was a virtual pop star. So we wanted to design our own pop star called Maya, who she was ageless, timeless. She can stand for women's rights. So we really created this Facebook profile called Maya Lucia, which is still existing on Facebook. And in India, we realized it's called CBS. It's called Cricket, Bollywood, and Spirituality. And this is how we kind of move the nation. So I decided I want to use Bollywood. I want to use media, and really created this virtual pop star who's basically, you can kind of work with and kind of work with them on values. That was my second transition. But when I was in India for the last 8 years, the city I grew up in has one of the highest suicide rates, right? This is Bangalore. How can you have suicide in India? India is the land of yoga and Ayurveda, right? But today we are the largest diabetic population in the world. And so something was going on. We were super connected and now becoming very lonely. And it's a taboo to really go back and look at a therapist in India or in Bangalore. If you were upset, you go back and talk to the guy next to you and say, come on, let's have a cup of chai, right? That's your therapist. So all of a sudden, I realized that there should be a way. People are not going to talk to each other. Can we use technology to really come in the ways? This is my second avatar of getting back into AI. That's the time I met Deepak Chopra. I don't know how many people know about Deepak Chopra, one of the top well-being experts in the world. And he said, Poonacha, I've written 85 books, everything in health and well-being. I talked about quantum healing. We really need to figure out a way to keep people out of the healthcare system, really taking care of themselves. And the key is awareness. If I asked everybody today, do you know the last time you slept for less than 5 hours, what happened? Probably don't really remember. But the challenge with us today is that we do a lot of things which we have no idea why we do. And the question then, can we use technology and AI to really help us out? Then the next pivot happened when I watched the movie Her, right? And I said, wow, this is interesting. The mobile phone today understands everything about you, right? Your lat long, it knows who you are, what you are, the way you type a text messages. I can tell whether you're flirting. By the time you take an image on the phone, I can tell you what your micro expressions are. We build what we call the life event ontology. So this is what really started what we are into today, and I really won't get into too much of the details. But really the fundamental question got into, who am I? Are we real? So are we real? If I exist because you all exist in this room, if my pet dog was here, For her, I'm not Poonacha, I'm just something else. So if there was a moth over here, we are something else. So 3 different people have 3 different reality. So for me, reality became a man-made construct. And I figured I can now use AI to really understand who we are, what am I, how can I serve, and really started getting into the crux of using technology to really solve well-being problems. So that's really where we are. I think the reason for getting into, I think, as entrepreneurs come on board, is to really look at how can we improve well-being in society. We talk about personal transformation and societal well-being. So the mantra we have is that how do we create a joyful, energetic body, a loving, compassionate heart, a restful but alert mind, and lightness of being. And when we have these 4 things going, we truly have well-being in our lives, right? So when I started coming, when in the United States, I started looking into this, I realized out of every $3 or $4 spent goes to chronic disease, right? And by the way, chronic disease is actually something we created. It's a lifestyle disorder, right? So this is where I think we can use AI and technology, and we call it the 5 Ps of chronic disease management. The first thing, chronic disease is predictable, right? So we can predict based on looking at genetic makeup, your lifestyle. If I'm smoking, I know I'm going to basically get into something related with asthma and allergies. So it's predictable. This is when AI, we can basically use deep learning to predict some of these things. Once you can predict a chronic disease, what you have to do is we can prevent it, right? Only 5% of disease-related gene mutations are fully penetrant. So unless you have the BRCA1 gene like Angelina Jolie, everything else can be managed, right? The third thing is that it has to be personalized. This is where I think a lot of technology doesn't understand who you are. It's not about saying, okay, you fall under, I'm 46 years old, I'm Asian, and by the way, this is really your dosage of medication. Today, I think there's personalized medicine. We got to get down to the individual level. And this is another area where big data and AI plays a big role. And we're working a lot of areas in this. The 4th thing you got to do is to set up a process. And the last one is get people to participate. And this is a big area which we are looking at, is how do we get people to participate? So what we look at is what we call the habit loop, right? So when you look at behavior change, we talk about the cue, reward, routine, and craving model. In life, there are 5 cues in life: people, place, time, emotion, and a preceding behavior. So let's take smoking. Typically, I go to the office, it's 10 o'clock in the morning, I meet my boss. People, place, time. That's the cue. The reward, I want to relax. The craving is nicotine, and the routine is smoking. You never tell people to stop something. You can put any number of images or videos out there. If you tell people, if you stop smoking, if you stop smoking, you won't get cancer. People don't care. 10 years from now, I'm going to get cancer. I want to feel good now. It's about the experience. So we really want to understand how do we create these experiences with media, and that's something we're looking at. The last thing which I want to leave you guys with is basically about reinventing the body, and hopefully this is something which we can kind of keep in mind. First thing, your body is a process, not a structure. Nothing in you is fixed. Your skin is basically changing every minute. Your stomach lining, skin every couple of days, stomach lining every couple of hours. Your musculoskeletal system every 10 years. So literally you can reinvent your body, right? The second thing is that your body is an energy and information field. If I stand next to you, you're going to feel my energy. I feel your energy. So we are actually having a conversation. So we need to understand the electromagnetic interference, or how we actually can understand this process. The third thing is that gene expression is influenced by thoughts. I was just talking about it earlier. If I say I love you, and 2 people are in love, there's serotonin, there's dopamine, there's opioid. You feel like you can climb the mountain, the Himalayas, swim across the English Channel. I love you. 3 words. They change your genetic makeup, right? Your biology. Now, two people are basically saying the same 3 words, I love you. One of them, they're getting divorced or breaking up. Every time he or she says, I love you, you're getting irritated. Your cortisol level goes up. Your immune system goes down. Thoughts. So our body is not static. We can actually change. And this is where I think using technologies like AI, we can do so much, right? So I think when you create a film, you create a movie, you actually create an emotion. You evoke an experience. And this experience can change your biology, right? 4th one is neuroplasticity. Your brains are not hardwired. They change all the time, right? The 5th one I talked about, only 5% of disease-related gene mutations are fully penetrant. 99.9% is same as a chimpanzee. 99.1% is same as a banana, right? So we are pretty much, genes are not really what's actually managing a biology. It's basically what I call the microbial colonies. Professor Rob Knight from UCSD talks about it. We are 23,000 human genes. We have 2 million plus microbial genes. We have 3 pounds of bacteria hanging around our body. So what we eat is so important in understanding. So what we watch, our contact, when we basically talk about human touch, and really when a baby is born in C-section, nowadays they basically put the mother's juices on the baby to really start jump-starting the microbial content on the baby, right? So when we hug each other, we feel. So when we start building technology, let's not alienate who we are. I think as a technologist, I love technology, but I always say technology should complement an online-offline interaction. So we have, like how doctors have an oath, I think engineers and AI should take an oath, an oath to connect people. And there's nothing like about bad robots or terrible robots, they're just bad programmers and dumb algorithms, right? I think there's nothing about bad robots. Ethics is definitely based on the individual. Awareness is key to transformation, I think, and that's really what AI can play a big role in. I'm really not going to get into a lot of the different things over here, but I'm going to keep this presentation online in the interest of time. But really, I think if you look at some of the examples out there, AI, deep learning and cancer detection at Samsung, fantastic work, right? Amazing, because you can actually now detect breast cancer and malignant cells using ultrasound technology and AI. What I also love, the ability to leverage precision medicine. Like I'm working with a company called Althea DX using deep learning algorithms. You can take a saliva test and figure out exactly what drugs you're allergic to or drugs which don't work for you. By the time you're 55, you have 15 different medications you're basically taking, each one of them interacting with one another. So this is where AI can play a big role. Gene editing, I'm going to skip that one, I'm not too very popular with that one. But wireless neural dust, using piezoelectric cells, basically in the brain, powered by ultrasound, today we can detect things like epilepsy and seizures in real time. So these are some of the advances in AI technology which we can leverage. Google is doing some amazing work, IM2 calories, where you can take a picture of your burger or your omelet, and it kind of figures out based on visual algorithms, kind of figure out how many calories you are consuming. Amazing use of visual technology. What I'm pretty interested about is we work very closely with cities and communities. Example, we're working with the city of Aspen. City of Aspen has one of the fourth highest suicide rates in the country, right? How do we understand? So this is really what we are doing. I think my goal with technology, working with Deepak, is really creating a platform called Jiyo. And our goal was to figure out how do we understand if somebody's mood is shifting or somebody is depressed or somebody is anxious. So this is what we're doing. So every time you take a picture on the internet, what we call a selfie, we look at your micro expressions on your face, the 15 micro expressions. If you let us access your camera on the microphone, we can look at your pitch and standard deviation of your voice, the voice stress analysis. If you look at the lights and if you turn the camera on, we can actually look at the light sensitivity right now and say, you know, at 7 o'clock, it's going to impact your melatonin production, turn it down, right? We can look at the lat long in a given place and tell you what is the UV index, and then tell you what is the PM 2.5 levels in the atmosphere, which might be triggering your allergies. We can look at the gait of your walk, and then figure out exactly how is your mood shift. We can look at how you're sweating or hydrating and figure out are you trending towards stress. So this is really where AI, so once again, it's not a single state, it's actually a process. So I think the most important thing for us is to really come together and really create a cohesive process in AI. Not one silo can work together. So when we look at well-being, this is our version of well-being. We look at the 10 facets of well-being. Intention, mind-body connection, movement, nourishment, sleep, eliminating toxicity, people, substance, and place, love and relationships, creativity and youthful mind, career and finance. You can have six-pack abs, but if you have no love in your life, there's no well-being, right? You can eat a lot, eat really well, work out every day, but if your bank balance is not that great, there's no well-being. So when we really start looking at well-being and AI, let's kind of look at it as a process. So that's really it. I think I'm really excited to work with some of the winners of the PitchFest and really see how we can create technology with them, at least the minimum viable product. Because so many ideas don't make it because they were just off by a little bit, right? If somebody really worked with them on their website or really worked with them on getting their app working or tweak the design, they could have had another shot. So that's it. So thank you. Yeah, so I think when I met Molly and we were talking about it, I said, let's kind of pick the three winners of the PitchFest and really kind of figure out how we kind of build a minimum viable product for them. Because I think sometimes when you actually go pitch a product, the first thing the venture capitalist or VC or whoever's asking you, show it to me, you know. And second thing is that nobody funds a business PowerPoint presentation anymore. They really want to see real examples out there. So our goal is that I have 200 engineers in India who basically build technology. And our goal was, how about allocating some time from them to work with the winners of the top 3 pitches, right? We said, to really help them over a 3-month period to really get a minimum viable product out there. So we will get our designers, our software engineers, outside of the hardware, because I think if the hardware is a requirement, we'll kind of figure that out separately. But everything from a I would say mobile app to Black platform to the cloud, we can figure that out and get it to a point where, for one, they get to see it, because I always believe build something and then it'll pivot. But until you see it, it ain't going to happen. So that's really, even in Jiyo, we've been doing this for the last 3 years. And once we've been out in the community, and now that we have about 100,000 users in well-being, we understand how they behave. And I think, but we needed to have that, and that's really, I think, our commitment to kind of work with the team. Thank you.